Hey guys, welcome to Mutant Anime, and this is our second video on this channel. So, you may be wondering, what video are we doing this time? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're doing a review on My Heroes Rising. And after the success of the first movie, where I was dumbfoundedly, mind blown on that movie, because I loved it. Like, who can't love the reaction between Deku and All Might just fighting together? It's beautiful. It's great. It's like the father-son Kamehameha. Now, for this movie, it was the opposite of that for me. I was disappointed. I didn't like the movie. I was excited for this movie going into the theater. I was jumping up and down with my popcorn, with my friends next to me, just saying jokes, like the typical anime fan would do. But as I kept watching the movie and it progressed later on into the movie, I felt it dragged. I wasn't excited. I loved the fight scenes. The animation was beautiful. Character designs were great, but I didn't like the movie. Like, the villain felt so cookie cutter. His name is Nine, by the way. His bandit of 4 people. Him, which is Nine, Slice, Mummy, and Chimera. Arguably, Chimera was the coolest character in this movie due to the fact he's a Chimera. That was just crazy to me. It's like, oh man, a quirk uses a Chimera? Oh, sign me up for this. But, oh man, they had such a plain backstory. Their backstory is essentially the typical one-off villain backstory, which there's nothing wrong with it. But to me, I hate it when studios cut corners like that. Hey, how do we make this villain just forgettable? You know what? Let's make it the typical plot point that he wants to make the world in his vision, and only the strong should survive and rule the weak. Yes, that is his motives. Nine is dying because every time he uses his quirks, his cells destroy each other. So he wants to make the world in his vision, and he wants to find a user that has a cell-activated quirk, which just so happens to be one of the kids on the island. So they're 2 siblings. One is Katsuma and the other Miharu. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Sorry, my Japanese is awful. So they're 2 siblings that are on the island. They're little kids. Miharu hates heroes because it's a dangerous job. And her mother's dead. And her dad works away. So the only real family she has is her little brother. Her little brother is the opposite of her, who idolizes heroes. You can say he's like another Midoriya because he's just so fascinated about the heroes. So let's go onward to Class 1A, that they're stationed on this island to do work as heroes. The Hero Commission felt that it was necessary to have Class 1A work here. Why? Because the impending doom of All Might already losing his powers, All for One gaining more traction in the grand scheme of villains, the League of Villains becoming much more of a threat, and there is no real symbol of peace anymore. So they're like, we should send Class 1A here. This seems like a good idea. You think so? Yeah, the Hero Commission thinks it's good. Sending a bunch of kids to an island without any pro help. Like, I have so much great blood. Like, you live in a society where a terrorist group is gaining more power, and you decide to send your best candidates to be professional heroes on that island without any supervision at all, just themselves. It is astonishingly a crazy idea. But nonetheless, that's what happens. They get sent to this island. It's a peaceful island. It's about 1,000 inhabitants. No real crime happens. It's more inconveniences that happen. They have to fix inconveniences, like lost kids, an old lady breaking her back, a farmer's truck can't move anymore. Like helping out the community is more what it was. So that was nice. But the fact that I didn't say no pro help just in case, like, you know what? What if a villain comes up? what if? And then on the slew of this, there is a rapid amount of cases of people losing their quirks, and it just goes down Japan and it just lines up to the island. They're like, wonder where they're gonna strike next. And the crazy thing is, Nine, he is compatible with All for One, so he has that quirk with him now, which with his other quirk, which is weather control, and some other quirks that they did not name. It is oh man, that I would say the quirks are beautiful. Oh my god, they're crazy. The fact he just makes a thunderstorm come down raining on the city and destroys the lighting source, creates mass destruction just by him standing there. But then it's when it's revealed to us that, oh, he can't do it for long because, like I said earlier, his cells destroy themselves. So he's like, I stole this quirk from this guy. Hey, look, he has family. They're 2 kids. I wonder what powers they have. Obviously, he already knew the son had the cell acceleration quirk to heal him up. So they go onward to the island. But it cuts now back to Midoriya and Bakugo. Bakugo is making the night run because he didn't do anything all day. Obviously, he's not going to help people. He just wants to fight. God bless Bakugo. So he's making a run. He's coming back to the base of operation. And then Katsuma runs up to them and tells them, oh, there's a villain somewhere. Bakugo strings into action, takes a little boy, and just explodes his way through. Then Midoriya follows through. And then it turns out it's a big bug. So Bakugo tries to flash it with one of his flashy moves, and he looks at it like, this is weird. He lands on the ground, pending doom full of death coming. Deku freaks out, and they step on Bakugo. But then you see Bakugo just walk right through it like nothing happens, and it is revealed Miharu has a quirk, and it's just to create illusions. And she was doing this to show her little brother that heroes are no good. You shouldn't want to be a hero. It's dangerous. And then Bakugo gives his spiel getting mad of why he's going to be number 1 and why they wasted his time on such a bad thing. So then it cuts to the next day. Katsuma finds Deku, goes to apologize to him. I'm sorry that my sister did this thing to you just to make a point, even though she scolded you earlier in this movie. But it's okay. You're the typical hero guy that's always going to forgive everybody. Thank you, young Katsuma. Oh, is that a hero pin? Let me tell you something about being a hero. All the while, Bakugo's on the roof. Well, not on the roof, on the balcony, listening to the conversation. And then it is revealed that their dad works abroad and their mother's dead, so they only have each other, like I said earlier. And Bakugo kind of feels for them. It's weird Bakugo having feelings like this, but I like the character development, so onward. Then we see the 2 siblings in the playground that they're always at, always talking, trying to have fun. And Katsuma is about to reveal to her that he is going to try to be a hero. And as he's about to say something, a cruise liner crashes into the port. They call for help. Bakugo is the only one there and he picks up. He thinks it's another prank. As Midoriya is walking by, he runs, grabs the phone. Before they can say where they're at, it cuts off. Oh, look, the communications are brought down by Chimera. And then, thus, the action for the movie actually starts for the next 30 minutes. Yeah, the rest of the half is pretty action-packed. From that little, everyday mundane type of thing to an actual crisis. So none of the heroes have contact with one another. So there's a group at the beach. They send Falco Boy, Tokoyama. He goes back to the base to tell everybody what's going on. Like, there's stuff here, stuff happening here, and here. While Deku is running to see if he can find the kids at the port. Then the heroes split up, start fighting. So we have Mummy 9, Chimera fighting the rest of Class 1A. Bakugo is just running from Mummy to 9 to fight. Then Deku finds the kids, but he also finds 9. They start fighting. 9 starts getting intrigued by his quirk. He calls it a superhero quirk. Ooh, that's interesting. I might want to take that. Then he's able to get a hold of Deku and tries to steal his quirk. While Deku is frantically freaking out that he's going to lose his powers, 9 just realizes, as any fan of this show knows, if they watch it or read it, you can't take one for all. It has to be given to you. That's how it works. He realizes he can't take it for some reason. He draws up his conclusion. He's like, I don't have enough space in my body to take this quirk. I might want to erase some things to take this later. Throws them to the side, goes after the kids. Mihoharu sees Deku is basically dying. It's how bad he's getting whooped. She makes an illusion of Deku and asking somebody to help. Then Bakugo springs into action to fight. They both get mollywopped, but before 9 can take Katsuma, he's like, my cells, the plot armor, the cells, they ain't working so good. I don't feel so good. Then Slice goes up to her, you should rest. Forget the kid, let's go. But the heroes were able to capture Mummy, which was the most useless out of all these villains. Because this thing was just, he wraps an inanimate object, or a non-living object, and he can bend it to its will. He captured Bakugo, but then Bakugo just blew out of it and just beat him up. I mean, nobody else really much did anything but Bakugo there. So, all the heroes take everybody to the electrical plant to feed the villagers, Take everybody, make sure everybody's huddled up so nobody's separated. This is where we find out Kasuma's cell ability quirk. He heals Bakugo and Deku, who almost died, who almost kicked the bucket. Then we go to them getting healed up. Then Kasuma saying, they only want me, let them take my quirk. It's okay, I'll save everybody. That's when Deku goes, nah. Bakugo's like, nah, we got some unfinished business. They ain't winning that easy. And then it is revealed, the scene between where All Might will talk to Midori and Bakugo, how if they understand each other, they can get anything accomplished. Because Deku, you want to save people. And Bakugo, you want to beat up villains, right? Yeah. So work with your goals, they have the same end result. Beating up the villain saves people, but saving people also means defeating the villain. So if you understand each other, you can get anything done. Then they draw up like a siege type of plan to draw the villains into a castle that's in the far end of the island. So it's just Chimera, Slice, and 9. You're like, it ain't that hard. We'll take it. They create a plan to separate all three where Chimera starts fighting Todoroki, Froppy. Then we have Slice fighting Tokoyama. Then we have Uruka. And I always forget the little French guy, Gui's name, but it doesn't matter. For those two to hold off 9 for a while. Then, obviously, they fail because this guy is the main villain. So they're fighting. They're trying to... Basically, what they're trying to do is prolong him using his quirks for him to start hurting already. But there's a problem, though. And they didn't notice it. He has like 2 syringes in his back. So I guess that's for helping his cell come back together again. But it only works for like a little time. So he finally gets to the point where he meets with Bakugo and Deku. The fight starts to happen. It starts to look into Bakugo and Midoriya's favor because he's using all the same tricks he used before. And they told him, you used those tricks on us once, they won't work again. Then he decides to get more creative. And then he starts hurting. They're like, yes, we got it. As they're running to him to try to knock him, he uses the syringes on his back to get back to normal and starts going havoc again. The rest of the heroes that stayed behind realize things are looking back, so one of them runs with the kids so they don't get caught, and the other two start fighting. Oh man, it gets to the point that Nine goes through everyone, starts walking to the two kids. Miharu tries to sacrifice herself to save her brother, and Nine just grabs her and starts choking her. And he basically tells Katsuma, listen, if you want to save her, give me your cord. If not, I'm going to snap her neck. But before he can grab him, Deku just comes and just cheap shots him in the face. And they keep fighting again. But it gets to the point that this man, Nine, creates a fire tornado. So Deku's like, I'm going to hit him with one for all at 100%. And Bakugo is using his strongest attack. It doesn't work. They get caught in their I think they were dragons that come out of him. They were holding them. And Deku realizes what's about to happen if they don't do anything. So as Deku's bleeding and Bakugo's bleeding, they touch hands together to basically Deku to transfer one for all into Bakugo. And it basically turns into All Might versus One for All. I mean, all for one. Then it just becomes, this is my last smash attack. The fire just gives out. They beat the villain. The villain gets, distraught. All Might finds Bakugo and Midoriya laying next to each other, badly beaten. Help finally arrived because they did send a drone for help. And then he's like, what happened? Deku explains what happened. Then All Might is sad that I'm not gonna see you grow anymore, Midoriya. But it's okay, you did what I would do. Then it is shown that Midoriya still has one for all. And they look, and it's like, you still have your quirk? Look, must have, and they chopped it off. To the most convenient thing to happen. Bakugo passed out unconscious before the transfer was complete. So it's invalid. So you still have the quirk. Don't worry about it. And the movie basically ends with Nine finding Shigaraki. And Nine's like, I need more time. And Shigaraki's like, no, I'll keep your dream alive, and just kills him. And that's where the movie ends. This movie for me, the last couple of minutes for this movie were so interesting. What bothered me was the one for all thing. I didn't like it so much. It felt like a cheesy, fusion, type of situation. But it is what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. I like the first movie better. It was more enjoyable. The characters did a lot more. Here it was just Midoriya and Bakugo doing everything. And then having two annoying kids throughout the movie being the sole premise of, this. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of this movie. Like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next Bearded Anime episode. Thank you.